Hello, Daphne.
Hello.
Yeah, we did it.
Technology, we can figure it out even when it's new.
Woohoo! Oh
You
my gosh, I'm so happy to see you.
too.
It is
It's
Happy
been a
New
little
Year.
while.
I know. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank goodness 2020 is over and we get to start fresh now.
Whoop, whoop. Next one.
That's
Let's
right. That's right.
let's do it. So I am so happy to have you on here as my first guest of the year.
Thank
And
you.
I love New Year's. I love the whole concept of a brand new beginning and a fresh start. Every day can be a fresh start, but I just really
Right.
love New Year's. So I'm really happy to have you on here today. You are like the guru above gurus on nutrition and everything that comes along with that. I can't wait to dive into some questions today. And just thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
I
for
promise,
having me. This is so fun.
yay! I promised our guests we would give you some juicy tips at the end. So make sure
Okay.
you remember to save those for me because
Okay.
everyone is already asking, what's it going to be? So
Okay.
anyway, so as we reflect on the new year, I wanted to ask you, what excites you about nutrition? What excites you about being in this field?
Well, so I've known since I was probably about 8 years old that I wanted to go into the field of nutrition. And it wasn't because my family was really into nutrition. In fact, my family was very much into dieting. And so I thought, wow, this will be pretty easy because I know everything there is to know by 8 years old, you know? But reality is that the field of dieting and the field of nutrition are very, very different. But the thing that excites me the most about it is that every single day, multiple times a day, you get the opportunity to make the decision of supporting your body and supporting what you want and what you desire and how you feel, or not. You know, so sometimes. Usually at the beginning of the new year, people are like all gung ho. Yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that diet. I'm going to do whatever. And then it starts to kind of taper off usually pretty quickly. In fact, by this time of the new year, where we're not even quite a weekend, a lot of the motivation has started to fade. But just as you said, every single day is a new day to start something new. And I would even say, and I do tell my clients this, that every single eating opportunity presents you an opportunity to make the choice of if you're going to support yourself that day or if you're not. So we get that choice to start over multiple times a day. And food is something that we put into our body multiple times a day. And so we always have that new way to start and support ourselves.
I love it. So I love the concept of every day is a new day. So you're saying we don't have to say, I'm going to eat everything I want today because tomorrow I'm dieting.
No. And, you know, diets don't have to start on Monday. Diet can start in the middle of a Thursday if you want it to. And so by diet, it really just means, you know, I'm not a big fan of that word,
Yeah.
but it really just means the choices that you're making to support yourself through food.
Cool. So I understand what through talking with you that you love self-care, and I would love to hear some thoughts that you have on how self-care is integrated in with the whole body of nutrition and stuff.
Sure. So self-care, you know, that term has been kind of popularized and thrown out there in many ways, but self-care is just the day-to-day things that you do to make the choice to take care of yourself. So that can look like maybe getting up, setting your alarm and getting up 10 or 15 minutes earlier so that you can slow down in the morning and you're not, you know, I used to say that I was a drill sergeant in the morning with my son, like, all right, let's go. Da, 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 and everything was like super, super rushed. But that could be self-care. Self-care can be making the decision to decline a call that's coming in if you know it's somebody that's really not going to be supportive of you in the moment. It can be, obviously, whenever I'm talking to people about food, we talk about self-care through the things that you're putting into your body. So whether it's the coffee that you choose to drink in the morning or choose to not drink so that you can support your energy level. It can be through, the snack that you might have, the donuts that are sitting at the whatever, the conference room, and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to make the choice to not do that today. Or self-care can be going home and relaxing in a really warm bath with bubbles and maybe some candles and music. Or it can be going to get a massage or a pedicure. I mean, self-care comes in so many different ways, but what it boils down to is that you're making the choice to do something, something to take care of yourself on a daily basis.
Awesome. What, you want to know what my favorite one is?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I love massages. So I love, or even breathing. I feel like just taking a couple minutes to breathe for 1 minute 1 or 2 minutes is like,
and the great thing about breathing is that you can do it anywhere at any time. No one has to know that you need to take a moment. I mean, it can just be done anytime.
Right.
So I'll tell you, my favorite self-care thing is to, whenever I am in the kitchen, usually in the evenings, I'll just put on some music, and it doesn't have to be like the music that everybody in the house wants to hear. It's the music that I want to hear. And sometimes they're not the same. And so just listening to some music while I'm, cooking or unloading, whatever the task of the moment is, that to me feels very comforting.
So I think women tend to think about what other people are wanting first. So that's a really good tip. Sort of like, what do I want to listen to right now? What's going to make me, sizzle my food a little faster?
Yeah, we want to cook with love, and so we have to be able to enjoy the moments that we're in whenever we're preparing meals.
And I can't have a conversation about nutrition without talking about one of our favorite subjects the last time we were meeting together.
Oh, goodness. Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Poop.
So that's one of the main ways that we evaluate nutrition is through how you poop. Not how you poop, but what comes out.
So tell me about it. What do we need to know?
Okay, so the basics about poop. One is that you really should be pooping. And whenever I'm being a little bit more professional, I'll say you should be having a bowel movement at least once a day, at least. Ideally, you'd have a bowel movement after every time that you had a substantial meal. But so you need to be pooping every day. It should be easy. It should not cause any anxiety. It should come out pretty smooth. It should look like a banana, usually brown, unless you've had something that is colored, then it may color your stool. It should sink to the bottom, and it should be a pretty simple process. If not, there are lots of things that can contribute to poops that do not fit that description. So it can be food sensitivities. It can be maybe you're just not drinking enough fluids, which is kind of the most basic, simple thing whenever we're talking about pooping. Maybe you're not getting enough fiber. I mean, we could go on and on. There are lots of reasons why poop doesn't happen the way that it should. But poop and evaluating your poop is a really good tool for you to use to see how what you're putting in is coming out.
I love it.
So I have my son, he's 12 now, so he's not quite as cool with talking about that sort of thing. But whenever he was younger, he would go to the bathroom and come out and say, "Mama, it looked like a banana." Or he'd say, "Mama, that one was not good." I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about what you've been eating for the past, few days and see if maybe that's contributing to it.
Huh? It's our
yes. Yes, it's your eating report card.
Okay, so on to a safer subject. I want to ask you about when Harry met Daphne.
Okay.
Tell us all about it. How did that get
Yes,
started?
okay. Harry is a friend of mine who is a psychotherapist, and he reached out to me. He has recognized, and I think in the years, I've been a dietitian for 20 plus years. And over this time, I've seen the change in the support through nutrition. When I started, dietitians and nutrition was just kind of like, oh, you just eat whatever you want, and we can give you medicine for whatever your problems are. And now just the general population, and I would say even the medical community, has really made a big turn in understanding that what we put in our body is going to impact the way that we feel physically, but also the way that we think and our mental status. So Harry, as a psychotherapist, made that connection and understands the true value of nutrition when it comes to mental health. So we connected about a year and a half ago now, and started figuring out ways that we could work together to support both mental health and physical health. And so we, over the in April-ish, when the pandemic started, and we were really trying to work towards supporting, our private practices were kind of came to a halt at that point. And so we were figuring out, how can we support our community through what's going on, because certainly at that time people were stress eating, people were going through some mental challenges in many different ways. So we started doing these Zoom calls weekly, and every call was a topic that was kind of related more so to mental health at that point, but we would weave in the physical health. And that has become a really great platform to be able to just support both mental and physical health through your day-to-day activities. And we talk a lot about the things that you think about, and how what you're thinking about is going to affect the way that you feel physically. So When Harry Met Daphne has since been turned into a podcast, where all of our calls that we've had over the past several months now have been turned into podcasts, and you can listen to them not just in the live calls that happen on Fridays, but any of your favorite podcast platforms. You can search the When Harry Met Daphne show, and all of those podcasts are there, and they're relevant. They started out during the pandemic, and I guess I'd argue we're still kind of in a pandemic at this point, but they started out whenever we were really in the crux of it. But the information is evergreen. I mean, the information is always something that we can benefit from.
I love it. I'll definitely be watching you. And I just think that's such a cool name, and has such good energy, and so smart. It just sounds like it's so tied into nutrition. A lot of how your mindset is gonna determine the choices that you're making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And let's see what else. I wanted you to tell me your favorite quick meal when you are in a rush or tired, and you don't want to just go to those go-to comfort foods. Do you have a favorite?
I have several. So sometimes I'll do, depending on how quick I need to be, sometimes I'll do just like an omelet with whatever vegetables I have in the refrigerator. So pull out the vegetables, chop those up, saute them, and then throw some eggs in there. So that's super easy and simple. What's more meal-like is a lot of times I'll get a bag. I pretty much keep this at my house, but a bag of kale salad. And I will tell you that I'm not a huge kale fan. I do not love kale, but the kale salad has a variety of different vegetables. So it has kale and cabbage and carrots and all kinds of different other things in there. So I'll take some kale salad, throw that in a saute pan, and saute it. So it's supposed to be salad, but I'll usually cook it down and really like stir fry it. So put a little bit of some toasted sesame oil in there, and then throw either some teriyaki sauce or some I don't know, peanut sauce or sweet and sour sauce. Usually not so much the sweet and sour, but throw that in there. And then if I have some chicken, that's great. If I don't have chicken, usually I always have eggs. So I'll crack some eggs in there and just make like a stir fry with it. And then, depending on how quick it needs to be, if I have some cauliflower rice, I'll put it on cauliflower rice. If I have regular rice, I might put a little bit of that in there. But a kale salad stir fry is really my quick and easy go-to for sure.
Sounds like 10 minutes or less.
Yes, it is. It is. And really, it's a crowd pleaser. So it's something that I know that my family is going to eat and not say a word about it because they enjoy it. So we have a system where we do a thumbs up if it's good or thumbs down if I shouldn't make it anymore. And sometimes I want to hear feedback, and sometimes like, I don't need your feedback. Just tell me yes or no. Just thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't want to hear all the details.
Yeah, we'll save that for another day.
Right.
Your in-depth feedback. So I downloaded your 5 tips for reclaiming your energy and vitality, and I love tip number 5. So talking about the daily reset and centering yourself, I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so I think that all of our a lot of times we spend our life and our day reacting to the things that come to us. And so it really takes a little bit of a mind shift. And this is really what Harry and I talk about throughout our show, that just the shift in how you approach the day. And you approach the day through all of the different choices that you make. So sometimes you have a lot of possibilities and choices, and sometimes your choices are, you choose road A or road B. But all of these things are choices that we make. And so along with that comes the way that we support ourselves. And so it kind of goes back to that self-care and just making the choice that we're going to take care of ourselves and we're going to be proactive rather than reactive. And that goes really with every aspect, whether it's food, whether it's your interaction with the people around you, whether it's how you're going to care for your physical body. Are you going to go for that walk? Are you going to maybe try and run today? I mean, all of these things are choices that we make. And one of those choices is to give your body and give yourself the permission to be able to take care of yourself. I feel like sometimes if I had a prescription pad, I would write the prescription for you need to do a better job of just caring for yourself. And so that de-stressing, whether it's listening to music or whether it's going for a leisurely walk or calling up a friend that is going to make you laugh, or there are so many different ways that you can de-stress, but it is a choice that you have to make. And with that choice, you have to give yourself permission to do things that are going to be supportive of you.
I love your distinction between de-stressing and distraction. So
yes, big distinction. So de-stressing is something that you are actually doing to allow your body to relax. Distraction, though, is something that you're doing to just take your mind off of and distract yourself from whatever is going on over here. So distraction comes in the form of scrolling through social media, watching TV. And I find it funny, oftentimes, whenever I'm working with someone individually, I always ask about what their hobbies are. So how do you de-stress and what are your hobbies? And so many people will say, well, I'll binge watch TV or I'll play video games. I'm like, that is not a hobby. That is completely just distracting yourself from your life. And while there is a place for that, that's not necessarily a way to be able to de-stress. It's just the distraction. So de-stressing is a way to take some of the stress out of you. Distraction is just looking at a different mess that you're paying attention to rather than your own messy life.
It's almost like just numbing, right? It's just numbing, getting away.
It's just numbing.
I don't want to think about my life.
I don't want to think about anything. I want to just be, distracted by somebody else's drama going on.
Yeah. So I love one of your examples of that is laughing and dancing and listening to music. I just think, like, how cool is that you can schedule in your calendar 10 minutes a day.
Right.
And it just reminder, it's time to get up and do it. And
that
freeing that feels.
It is. And so everybody has the thing that they enjoy. I am by no means, and I have never been, a dancer of any sort outside of, 6 years old in a dancing class. But I love to dance, love, love, love it. And so, we'll just break into dance sometimes, put on a song and break into dance because that's what I enjoy doing. Some people are not cool with that. I know plenty of people who do not like to let go and have that freedom. So you really kind of have to do whatever works for you and finding that thing and allowing that to, again, giving yourself permission to do it because it feels good to you.
Yeah, fine. Or even discovering what feels good. How do you know if you don't try things, right? Like we
Exactly.
doing an office party dance break.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think everyone would love that.
I know there are people who do that.
Yeah.
I'm an office of one, really, so
Get it.
I'll do dance breaks, but I'm not pulling other people into it too much.
So I understand you have some free recipes online. How can we find those?
Yeah, so until March of last year, was doing cooking classes monthly. And so the whole goal of my cooking classes is to get people in the kitchen and to remind them that cooking can be fun. It takes time, but we can use that time and have fun with it. Like I said, I usually put music on, but use that time. So all of those recipes, or a lot of those recipes that we cook in my cooking classes, are online. You just go to my website. It's theunconventionaldietitian.com /recipes. And I have a lot of recipes in there. And, I'm by no means a chef of any sort. I just like to cook things that are going to taste good and be healthy. So I'm a good, home cook. That's what I call myself, just a home cook. But I don't like to spend a ton of time on cooking. There are a lot of things that I want to do in my day. So cooking is one of them, but I want it to be just a little sliver of time. So my recipes are pretty simple, pretty basic, but also taste really good.
I love it. I love your name. It's
Uh,
it sounds fun instead of no one wants to
Yeah,
hear about
so
that.
dietitians don't have the greatest reputation. They're not loved by many. So, I many years ago, I had a different business name, but people would introduce me like, "Hey, this is Daphne, but she's the unconventional dietitian," and I was like, "That seems to be catchy, so I might as well go with the unconventional dietitian."
Might as well. We'll make sure we put your link in the bottom as well so everyone can find
Perfect.
you. And I promised everybody that you would give some tips today. So I wanted to hear one or two things that we can start doing today, right now,
Okay.
right as soon as we're done listening to you, to
Mhm.
be more healthy.
Okay, so like I've said, it really all begins with a choice. So to make the choice to do something that's going to support you. And I strongly, strongly believe that progress in any area of your life will keep you happy. So, any kind of progress that you're making, so that can be in your financial status, it can be in, of course, your food and your eating habits, and any goals towards weight loss or goals towards improving your energy levels or decreasing your cholesterol or whatever. Um, that can be in your exercise goals, but anything that you're doing to create and have move progress is going to make you happy, and it's going to keep you motivated or self-disciplined enough to be able to continue to move forward. So I would say, again, kind of ringing in the new year, if there's something that you want, not if, there is something that everybody wants. So identify it, write it down as not your goal necessarily, but the thing that you are going to make the decision every single day to move towards. And you can break that down. I mean, we can break that down into things that we do every month, things that we do every quarter, things that you do every week, every day. But it takes practice and it takes changing and being open enough to change your routine. So identify what it is that you want, write it down, tell people about it, because if it's secret to you, then it doesn't really have as much grip. So tell people about it, write it everywhere you can, and make the decision every single day to do something to move towards that goal.
I love it. Sounds like just making the decision to be kind to yourself and
Yeah.
make yourself important enough to do something
Yeah.
that
So everybody has, I'm sorry, I interrupt you. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. We can spend that time in whatever way that we choose to do it. We do definitely always have demands on us, but we do have time that we make the choice to be able to decide what we want to do.
very cool. I love talking with you, Daphne. I really appreciate you taking the time and spreading your words of wisdom. And I know you've inspired me, and I know you've inspired others. Hope you have
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Daphne.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.